Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Diana Pederson. I want to cover some other concepts for business builders. In this case, specifically getting into numbers on activity planning to achieve a specific target. For those of us who are new to network marketing, it's kind of hard to visualize how to get to a particular destination. And so I've collected information that relates to what's involved for that. So did I go one more? Okay. So to be able to get to a destination, you need to know how to get there. So starting with a goal, break it down to objectives of basically the intermediate chunks that you need to achieve, and then therefore what the tactical daily actions will get us there. These are terms that I'm getting from Marion Sides, who's so good at planning and strategy. So for Dorothy here and Toto, they're thinking about where they want to be, what their goal is. So we have to do the same kind of a thing. Thought I'd remove this one, but it's, yeah. So define the goal. So if somebody wants, for example, last week we had a question about targeting a particular income number. For example, $1,500 a month, or if they want to target a specific number of customers or a specific rank in ASEA. It just needs to be a goal that's specific enough so that you know that you've completed it, but also target something that's going to stretch yourself again. Do start easy so that you can grow confidence, but then stretch yourself as you go so that you can improve your skills and to get past what we might have as limiting beliefs. When we set a goal, it does help to share it with someone else. Your upline or an accountability partner are a great person to share that with because they can help you on that journey. So if we're going to take the example of $1,500 a month, I can look at the income disclosure statement from ASEA that comes in the welcome kit. And the average monthly income for direct is for around the 1,500 mark are the ranks of Director 700 and Bronze and ASEA. So we'll take a look at what's involved in those two. Now there's quite a bit of range. You can see that the monthly low and the monthly high can vary quite a bit. So either of those ranks would get us there. So now that we know the rank of Director 700 or Bronze, we need to find out what's involved, what are the qualifications that are necessary to reach that rank, and then these requirements become our intermediate objectives. So for Director 700, we just need to be what's referred to as binary qualified, which means we have 2 associates that we've recruited under us. And I'm not going to get into the left and right leg, but one on our left and one on our right. Yeah, so, and then the volume is just how many points of product that we've sold on each of those legs. So for Director 700, it's obviously 700 points. And for Bronze, it's 2,000. Because a customer might purchase a lot of product or a little product, we're just going to make an easy number of 100 points and call that a customer. So if I need 700 points, that means I need 7 customers approximately. So 100 points, as you know, is 1 case of ASEA, which is a month's supply of ASEA, the maintenance dose. So you need those 700 points on both sides of your leg, so on the left and the right, each week, because we're paid each week. So volume, so on your team leg, the volume from your upline can help. So just however you need to do to get to those numbers. But for planning purposes, assume that you need to reach all of that yourself. And then it's just bonus if you get extra from your upline. So as I mentioned, binary qualified just means that you've recruited 2 associates underneath you, and then the certain number of points that you need. So later in the next slide, we'll be talking about a Director 300. That means somebody under you who has recruited 2 people as well and have a volume of at least 300 points on each of their legs as well. And that can be achievable in about 30 days if somebody has a good network. So to be paid at Director 700 this week, as I mentioned, you have 2 associates and about 7 customers on each leg. Those could be your customers, or that the customers are the people underneath you. So there's the concept of rank versus a stable rank. In ASEA, we call this lifetime rank versus paid rank. The paid rank is what I'm paid at this week, and lifetime rank is the highest rank that I've achieved. Now you need a stable rank. In other words, you meet that rank you qualify for that rank every week to be able to get some fun commissions like the EMP, which sounds like electricity, but it's the executive momentum pool, which is pretty cool. But we're not going to get into that. But just noting that we're paid weekly. But subscriptions are usually once a month, which is that 100 points of that customer is 1 week out of your 4 weeks of your month. So times 4 if you want to have a continuous meeting of a particular rank. So Malsword has a really detailed video on his web about how to get to particular ranks at a stable rank. So he's taken the averages of how many people, how many customers and associates on average have been recruited to be able to be at a stable rank. I know this is a really small number here, but basically, just for example here, so if somebody's at a bronze, it takes approximately 24 enrollees to be able to reach that rank. So as we're trying to figure out how many customers that we recruit, also consider that you have to think in averages. So like if you know that there's 4 aces in a deck of cards, the only way to find them is by turning them all over one by one. So let's say my neighbor over here, Bob, he gets all 4 aces in the first 7 turns. I'm thinking, and I haven't received any yet. It doesn't necessarily mean that I haven't succeeded. It just means that my averages haven't caught up with me yet. So the trick is finding a way to be consistent until you find those aces in the deck. So this is a slide from the Alan Noble training on the Discover Redox training website. So it talks about the funnel, talking to 10 people to get 1 prospect, talking to 10 prospects to get an enrollment, and talking to 10 enrollees to get an associate. So it's this sifting and sorting process. So the goal is to have many people in the queue as you go through this process, but also that there's these different numbers of people that you have to talk through to sift it down to the process. One quote that I found is that the industry average is 13 presentations for 1 enrollment. When you're new, it just takes more presentations because we're still working on our skill sets. So if we take Malsword's example of 24 enrollees to get to bronze, and assuming that there's 13 conversations you need to have to get that, that means you need to have about 300 conversations to be able to get that number. And if you divide that, let's say if you want to hit that target within 90 days, then it would work out to be about 5 new presentations a day to be able to get to that number. So this is how you would take some of these averages and targets to be able to get to your goal. So does that mean a novice can't make the goal? No, it just means that they can get there. They just need to have more presentations. So they can work just as hard, or they can get to the goal just the same as a more experienced recruiter. They just need to do a few more presentations than the other person does. So it's just numbers. Knowing your numbers really helps. It also makes a difference on how well you know your prospects. There's a concept of hot versus cold prospects. Warm prospects are family, friends, business associates, people who already know you and you know them really well. And they're more likely to trust you and know you and be willing to try something that you recommend because they believe in you. Cold prospects are people who don't know you at all. They may have responded to an ad, and it just takes a lot more of them to get the same kind of response. So also keep that in mind of what kind of people that you're talking to when you're looking to recruit your prospects. So one thing that also helps there is when we meet somebody that we don't know, take a few minutes to get to know them, ask them questions about them, find what's fun for them, let them get to know you. That definitely increases the probability that they're going to listen to you, because it's probably creepy for all of us if somebody comes up to us and just starts telling us they're going to sell us something. Make that connection first. Be much more successful. Just some other numbers that I have. Now, Eric Worre, he's an industry advisor in network marketing in general, not just SIA. He has a presentation, which the link is there, about how to recruit 20 people in 30 days, which is pretty aggressive pace. And he's also emphasizing that if you're recruiting in a more concentrated manner, you're going to get better response from people because there's an urgency to it than if you spread that out, that same effort over a year. But it's his table starts at the bottom. It's like, how many calls do you need to make? Then how many appointments do you need to book? And then from that, how many presentations to be able to get the 20 people? So he starts with 300 to 500 people to get his 20 using these numbers. Start with a list. Even Santa makes a list, but he checks his twice. There's tools called memory joggers, which just has lists of who's all your friends, who's your hairdresser, who's the mechanic that you use. And it's just kind of lists of who to think about so you can start writing down all the people that you do know. And this is a great place to start with people that you're talking to, especially because it's likely your warm market and they're going to be more receptive. And it's just early successes do make a difference. So that's great. And then after that, be sure to be meeting people. Just have a regular routine where you go out and have opportunity to talk to other people. Quick reminder on numbers. Be sure to treat everybody as a person, not a number. We all get kind of caught up in the goal focus sometimes, and I'm always appreciate the reminders from Tyler Norton, our founder, on making sure on focusing what do they need, give hope, transform lives. Having a habit of allocating a time in the daily routine really helps. The consistency of a daily time that you focus on working the business really does make it progress further. A few people that you talk to every day adds up more than calling a bunch of people every once in a while. What I hear most recommended in a SIA is to target 1 or 2 new contacts a day. Now you can target 5 to 10 if you want, but realize that you're going to need to allocate time to follow up on those persons as well. Because 80% of sales and enrollment occur after 5 interactions, and I've heard that as high as 13 follow-ups. So just keep that in mind as well as you're planning. A great way to track the information is the MTR that's on discoverredoxtraining.com. That's a measured track report, and it just helps you to keep track of how many dials, how many invites, how many prospects, and 3 ways that you do, so that you can see what your numbers are. It also talks about the concept of above the line activities and below the line activities. Above the line being income producing activities like doing the invites, doing the asks, sharing a tool. Below the line activities are things that are necessary, but not income producing, for example, training. So just keep those in mind as well, because it's easy to get sidetracked on tweaking a website or an email. Staying connected really helps. Work with the people on your team, like an upline or an accountability partner. There's tons of resources in your back office in the library section. There's more information on the compensation plan if you want it. For example, the compensation plan summary document, which is a good reference. And remember to have fun along the way. Give yourself rewards when you meet objectives and goals. We all need to reward the little kid that's inside of all of us. So next set, just a quick summary here. Set your income goal. Know what's needed to hit the rank associated with that. Set a daily new prospect goal, whether that's one new person a day or 10 new people a day, whatever it is. It just is helpful to use as a daily step. Track your activity and outcomes, and then adjust as necessary so that you can get to your goal. And then just consistency, keeping working it. Questions?
I don't have any questions, but I have a great comment. Oh my goodness, I'm so impressed with this. Very detailed. Right. You've nailed everything. That's exactly what needs to happen if you want to see progress in your business.
Thank you for the feedback.
Very well put, Diana. Yeah.
Barbara, did you have anything to add? Because you're a bit more experienced than some of us on this call.
No, you've covered it all. I appreciate you're doing this. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
I think if you can cover it again next time, I will appreciate it too. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, thank you.
I have done many Zoom. I would have stayed outside for 10 years, and you, in 30 minutes, you show me the way it should be done properly and precisely. That's perfect. I just love you.
Thank you. Awesome. Good.
Yes.
Yeah, half of it is just kind of knowing the tools and know what to expect. And kind of like for me, because I was new to network marketing, I wasn't really sure the framework. And I was just thinking, oh, I'm just really terrible at this. Well, there's a learning. I was reminded recently, and that was really helpful, that network marketing is a skill. We need to learn all the steps. Like, we're not just naturally good at this. Some people have a bit more of a knack for it, but it's still a skill that we need to learn. And then for me also, just knowing the context of the structure of how the way of working works and how to get to a goal instead of having the vague, like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get there or how to get there. That was so important for me. So that's why I've been collecting all this data.
Yeah. You see, I followed Eric Worre for 6 months. And among that, at the beginning, there was the 90 days. And when I complete with him at ASEA, I was looking for a way to explain to the people what works well and exactly what you just showed today. No one over me or beside me or anywhere else was able. I was asking many times, if I bring in someone, what does he need to do to earn $1,500 a month or $2,000 a month? Nobody. They just told me, you just need to buy so much quantity of product and then you will reach your. That's not the same as what you explained today.
Yeah, there's a lot of pieces. You're totally right. Yeah, and it's part of the reason that we don't always get that is because it's not something that everybody does. Not everyone's numbers.
Yeah, because if we want to build a team, it's nice to have those zones that explain what the product does. But we also need to know what to explain to the people we involve, because I can sign as